Howdy folks, Doc here for Glass Best Tool, and Icon is continuing to release more G2 ratchets across their 1/2 inch, 3/8, and 1/4 inch platforms. And the one I'm going to look at today here is this Icon stubby fixed head versus, say, a flex head like this one. They do have, Icon does have a flex head that's available. I don't have one, but I do have this fixed head, and it is remarkably similar to this Snap-on. Very close. The Icon one sells maximum Harbor Freight price for 38 bucks, and that's for this guy here. The flex head's 45. The Snap-on, on the other hand, the fixed, this one is $134. This one's $157. So basically, it's a little less than $100 more to get the Snap-on version of this, and if you want the Icon version of the Flex, it's going to be over $100 more if you want the Snap-on. I mean, just wild. So anyway, there is a remarkable similarity between these two. I'm not going to get into how they can do it, but it's definitely something that is kind of shocking. You know, maybe this is close to a Gasp tool where you look at it and you gasp, but this wasn't so identifiable. There are lots of companies that make these stubby ratchets. Both are 80 tooth. Both are very smooth. Icon, this one is a little more clicky, but still very smooth. The Snap-on, a little more muted, and frankly the Snap-on feels like it has a little bit more back drag when I go back and forth, but you almost have to choose which Icon you get because some of them have more back drag than the other. Now where I'm headed with this is more in kind of the training tool idea. This is a big ask. You want somebody to get a stubby ratchet from Snap-on that's going to cost $134. They rarely ever put these kinds of things on sale because if you want them, you want them. And this is the FK80. The Icon, on the other hand, as you can see, is the R2ST, you know, is only 38 bucks. You can go pick it up. Both have lifetime warranties. Both silky smooth. They both use the two screws on the cover plate. The reason I point that out is I've noticed here's a Pittsburgh right here. I don't know if I have to look and see at the back end if I cut them off because, you know, I look at some of these and think, oh yeah, that's kind of messy. I cut that one. I didn't cut that one. Those I didn't cut, but you know, that one I did cut because I slice and dice these things trying to get to you know, something a little bit different, something more manageable. In fact, I was looking at this one, and this is one of those that I ground down. This is the 1/4 inch flex head, and they came out just recently with the 1/4 inch, you know, stubby flex head. And honestly, this has some potential there because it's not like your hand shrunk, just the ratchet. So this has got some of the same length, which I do appreciate here. But I can see because I also cut this one down and it's got potential too, almost as a spinner with extra leverage. So there's that, kind of wild. Anyway, back to this guy. The Snap-on is a big ask because it's so much money, and who's going to use it and for what? And maybe even the people who are going to use it even wonder, am I going to use it? So you could look at the Icon as a training tool, but often the training tool idea, at least the way that I think of it, is that you end up upgrading if you realize that you definitely want that tool. But why would you upgrade when almost everything is the same? Not made in the USA. The Icon is made in Taiwan as usual. The Icon, across the counter, lifetime warranty. Snap-on, you need a truck. And as you saw in my previous video, you know, I think Snap-on really needs to up their game. They need to be proud about their stuff, not just in price, but in presentation. And those pair of linemans, you know, people had some good suggestions. Those linemans that I had that were kind of messed up, those were a replacement for the really messed up ones that I did the video on, but that was basically as a placeholder because they were on sale. I wanted to get them, but the only way I could maintain that price is if I had a pair, and then I could order or basically warranty them on the truck. take them off the ceiling and warranty them on the truck right there for another pair, which I did, and that's the one that came in kind of messed up. I mean, Snap-on, I don't know what they're doing. It's like they don't care. But I do like their tools. I'm a fanboy. I thought about that just recently talking to some folks about what it means to be a fanboy. To me, it is I give the company the benefit of the doubt. I like their tools, but I also have very high expectations, which mean I might actually be a little abrasive to them if it does not meet my expectations. So this thing definitely does. This is a beautiful tool. Outstanding, wildly expensive at $134 or $157. I mean, think of that. There's like, that is crazy. There's over $300 worth of tools here, or about 300. That's just wild. But anyway, go back to the training tool idea. This would be a good example of one where you're not sure if you're going to use it. How functional is it? It's a good thing to question. You know, it's got a 2-inch handle basically, maybe 3 inches. And, you know, because the whole thing is only 4 and, what is it? Little over 4 inches. 4 inches. What do they say on the package? Let me see. 4 1/5. What the? Let me grab that. This is ridiculous. Look at this. Here's the packaging it came with. 4 1/5 inch. When did we start using fifths of inches? I mean, I've done the concept of Klein's war on metrics. A fifth of an inch? This isn't vodka we're talking about. This is a ratchet. Anyway, I do like it. I'm glad they're coming out with more and more of these. It's going to be interesting to see if they all stick, if they all stay in production. But frankly, Icon is killing it. And so many good tools are coming out of Taiwan right now. There's like USA, Taiwan, and Germany, and everyone else. You know, maybe the Czech Republic because the German tool companies use that as a manufacturer. But when you think about it, so many of these tools just did not exist in the average person's tool bag simply because the cost of these little, like these little Snap-ons, which were the only ones that were making it, it was just prohibitive. It was just wild, you know, to spend over $100 for a little mini ratchet you didn't know if you'd use. But anyway, so good on Icon for doing that. But it is kind of interesting to think about where this is going. Thinking about I mean, not just one stubby, multiple stubbies. You know, various lengths. And Icon is really pushing out a lot of cool tools that definitely match up with Snap-on. In fact, if I just waved that back and forth, you couldn't tell it from a Snap-on. So we'll see where this goes. But frankly, I'm glad Icon is actually doing it. Sometimes I have trouble thinking I'm actually saying that, but they're putting these in people's hands. People need to be able to use this stuff. I think your quality of work goes up when you have the proper tool, and knowing that there are a lot of small hand tools that are very functional, but they were just out of reach if we were stuck in the Snap-on pricing, and I totally get that. But for now, here you go. Here's the Icon tool of the day. The 4 1/5 inch 3/8 stubby ratchet with a fixed head. Let me know your thoughts. And with that, Doc out.